AmandaLand. We up.
All right. No spoilers. Not necessary. So let's talk about the show Forever. I'm going to write a piece on this as well. So the show Forever is a series created by Mara Brock Akil, who also created the show Girlfriends. And it is a reimagining of the Judy Blume classic, and it is on Netflix. And it stars two young Black people and a bunch of other Black folks. And I have to say that I was so touched by this show in a myriad of ways because it demonstrated Black love in a myriad of ways that we do not get to see. So often Black love is contextualized within a framework of just like struggle and of forces at work. And it's not to say that those are not real things that are working against you. However, what it does is it dehumanizes our love experience. And it prevents us from seeing representation of ourselves as being able to love each other on multiple levels. We get to see Black love on a romantic level in this film with the two main characters, on a young romantic level. And when we talk about romance, I'm not talking about partnership yet. I'm just talking about the actual process of getting to love, of arriving at love, the clumsiness of that process, and the many things that are in the way of that process that have nothing to do with the actual thing, but that have everything to do with your youth, right? With your surroundings, with your inability to control your surroundings as a youth. And seeing that through the lens of two thoughtful young Black people was something we just never get to see. We got to see Black parenting in a way that we rarely get to see. And we got to see Black parenting in so many different versions. The mothers weren't the same. The fathers weren't the same. The granddaddy wasn't the same. And seeing that was, I think, really a beautiful, conscious decision that the writers made. Because the truth is, we are not a monolith. However, the love that all of them had for their child was monolithic. And that was something I really appreciated in the nuance. All of them fiercely loved their kids. However, demonstrated that differently. And that is something we rarely get to see. We often are only seeing one version of what family looks like. And it's either we're together or we're apart. They actually had a unique version of together and apart. I've never seen that in the show, but we know it's real. We know it's real. And there were points at one point, you see, I'm in it now. There was points at one point where I said, wow, I thought I didn't like Buddy, but now I understand. Referring to her father. So I want you to also watch without judgment. And it's so easy to do because also we've been trained to watch like reality TV where we're just literally judging who we're watching because we don't want to judge ourselves. But I want us to watch this with an open mind and an open heart and open consciousness. We got to see Black partnership. This is different than Black romance. Black partnership is two adults being together. I want to talk about that outside of their partnership as it relates to their children. Because it was really their partnership as it relates to each other that we got to see. We got to see examples of deference that were not submission. We got to see examples of regard without disrespect. We got to see, we got to see examples of disagreement without disrespect. We got to see examples of understanding without enabling. That is something we just don't see enough of. And so it is so difficult for so many of us to live it in our lives. And in this show, they managed to do it. Now, Mara Brock Akil has said that this show is very autobiographical. It speaks to the experiences of her children growing up in LA within these wealthy white spaces. There is absolutely a real commentary that is being done within the nuances of them existing in these wealthy white spaces. But it is not about wealthy Black children. And I need to be clear about that nuance, because that may make people say, oh, this ain't for me then. This is not a show about wealthy Black children. This is about young Black people and their world, and them trying to somehow create their own world within their world. Then we have Black love of self. Now, this is something we do not see enough of on the screen. We talk about Black love all the time, about seeing Black romantic love, but we rarely get to see Black love as representational in the love of self and what that looks like beyond getting a manicure. What that looks like beyond leaving an abusive situation. We rarely get to see Black love of self outside the contexts of vanity and victimhood. We get to see it here. We get to see a multiple display of examples of what self-love is and the uniqueness of what that is as a Black person in the United States. So if you have not taken the time to watch Forever, please make it your business. I texted Mara to share my love. She did not text me back, but that's fine, because I'm sure she's flooded with folks sending her the same messages, because this was an incredible piece of work. It was expansive, not only in the actual content itself, but in what it brings from the viewer. What it brings from the viewer. It's the kind of thing also that will make you look at yourself. And I believe that that is the best art, particularly right now, that we need. We need art that is reflective. And you know what they say, the best art comes in the worst times. So that is what I aspire to do with my work. Please come and see What Would the Ancestors Say this Friday. Please come and see What Would the Ancestors Say this Saturday at the People's Forum here in New York City. It is a free show. You can go to peoplesforum.org to sign up. You can also go to peoplesforum.org to get the link to watch the show on live stream. Work as artists, our work has to be tethered to something more. It has to be tethered to something more. And I love seeing that this type of work was on such a big, massive platform. And I love seeing that her trash ass husband was not listed as a co-creator. Okay. So shout out to Mara Brock Akil. And shout out to also showing that, baby, it ain't over till it's over. You know, people will write you off. People will think that you done hit your peak because you had something really popping go down. You know, in the 90s, she did Girlfriends, and I think people may think, oh, well, that was it. No. When you got it, you got it. And when you got it, you're going to do it. And you're going to keep figuring out how to do it because their no's cannot get in the way of your yes. You hear me? So shout out to Mara and her writing staff, and shout out to these performers. Shout out to the director. Shout out to my homegirl, Tim B. Banks. I saw you on the TMs. She directed a few episodes. Beautifully done. A really great piece of work and a real bountiful source of light in dark times. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for creating that. Truly, truly. I enjoyed laughing and learning with you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Also, listen to the podcast. It's available everywhere pods are casted. Listen ad-free by subscribing to Patreon Amanda Seals. Come on and join the Seals Squad. Views from AmandaLand, live 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Wednesday, with content on Thursday and Friday at YouTube Amanda Seals TV.
Smart, funny, and